Good morning and welcome to Free Advice Friday. My name is Keri Barnum. I'm here for New Shelves Books and Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday where we get together to talk about book marketing, publishing, and anything having to do with being an author. And today we have quite a few questions that were emailed in, so we're going to tackle those. If you can't join us live, you can certainly email your own questions in. Just email info, I-N-F-O, at newshelves.com. We do put all of our replays up on YouTube, which is youtube.com/New Shelves Books. So let's get some of these emailed questions in first. And the first one is a question about how to use IngramSpark's option for real for real people. So right now IngramSpark only has email support. Email support, you email them, and the wait can be anywhere from 1 to 3 days easily, to be honest. It can be about that long. But they rolled out a couple months ago, they did roll out a system where you can pay for a block of their time in either 30 or 60-minute increments. And so we've had questions about how to access that. So let me find that screen. Saying I pulled up all of our screens here so that we would be able to do that. Oop, there we go. All right. And I will show you exactly where you need to go within, well, not that one. Let's try take two. It'll be better the second time. There we go. There's the right screen. All right, so right here, hopefully you can see it. We're in an IngramSpark account. And in the corner here, I'm hoping you can see this actually, in the corner here, there is this little button that says support. If you click on this, you must be logged into your account. If you click on this, it'll have recommended for you, which is just basic information. And then there's a contact us button. You can email, and if you email, it will bring you to this like contact form that you can fill out where you submit your request and you put the information in. You'll need your account number and the basics, and they'll get back to you again, typically 1 to 3 days. They do actually tell you how long, estimated, dependent on how busy they are. But there's also IngramSpark Connect, and IngramSpark Connect is scheduling a one-on-one conversation with IngramSpark customer support where you're actually working in your account together. And so if you do this, you click on that and it will walk you through the options for this, so as you can see. And then, it'll give you all the basics. If you still need more time, you can see it's $49 for 60 minutes or $25 for up to 30 minutes. You do get billed, as far as I know, you get billed after your call time. So then you would have to agree and then you would schedule. Once you schedule, it brings up all the times available, and they are pretty available most of the time. You would have to pick, 30 minutes. Okay, let's see what they have available coming up. So it looks like July 31st is the first that they have for that half-hour call, but they've got a lot of times coming up. So if you have a issue in your IngramSpark account, especially if it's ongoing, if you're tired of waiting for emails back and forth and you want someone to look at your account to help you directly, then this is an option where you can get full support for your account. So if you're looking for that, log in, go to that little support button on the side and follow the prompts there. And that's how you find that service. I've heard good things about it so far. I've heard that they are very helpful. I've heard that it's well worth the money if you're frustrated, and they can look at all of your titles. So it's not just like one problem. You can say, hey, I'm wondering about this. Can you look and see if I've optimized here, or tackle a specific problem? And I've heard, again, great things about that. Let's see, Pat's asking, I've queried a publisher in March and heard nothing. The website states it could take 6 months. It can. Querying a publisher very often will take 4 to 6 months. Even an agent, 4 to 6 months is not unusual. And then I have since learned the editor's name. I would really like to have my manuscript there. So should I nudge the editor at what point? I would not necessarily recommend reaching out to the editor. If you've queried, it depends on how the query works out. Did you query through the editor? Did you query through an online site? Following up or checking up is fine, but typically you wouldn't do that until their timeline sets in. So if they say it could take up to 6 months, then around the 6-month mark, you may follow up and say, it's been 6 months. I just wanted to see if there's a status on this, especially if they say they'll get back to you no matter what. So you may do that, but you definitely want to wait until their timeline runs out, and you want to follow up in the way that you submitted. So if you're submitting directly to a specific email, you follow up with that email. You do not want to surpass and just go to different people in the company. You may get attention, but typically it's not the right kind of attention that you actually want. See, is it still true that IngramSpark doesn't charge for file changes for 60 days? I just got charged $25 for changing one word, 57 days since my first upload. As far as I know, Elaine, that is correct, that they do not charge for file revisions. I believe it's 60 days. I don't know if it's 60 days from the day that the upload begins, like you actually created that title in your IngramSpark account, or if it's 60 days from the book going live. I'm not quite sure. You would have to ask them on the rules there, but that would be a great thing to kind of email them and ask for clarification, because the 60-day rule, as far as I know, for revised file is still intact, and it is still free to upload. They no longer have the $49 fee they used to have. Speaking of IngramSpark, since we've already tackled them today, they sent out an email this week saying that they have updated their shipping. So shipping has been one of those things for IngramSpark that's had a lot of contention, because it's quite pricey for shipping. And then they have handling fees, and they weren't tracking things. It was almost like they had too many options, but not the right options, I think. So now they've broken up their shipping into standard shipping and basic shipping. These are the two options. Basic shipping is just media mail or a comparable by USPS. And the shipments are not trackable. They're not insured. There's no handling fee, but it's $2.99 per order plus 50 cents per book up to 25 books. So that's like the cheapest basic shipping. It's not trackable, and it's not insured, but it is cheaper. And then their standard shipping is now UPS from commercial and residential. Shipments are all trackable. There's no handling fee. And this one has an $8.99 per order plus a fee per book. And it's 70 cents per book up to 15 books, 65 cents per book, 16 to 49 books, or 60 cents per book for 50 or more books. So you guys know me and my calculator, because I am not doing math in my head, not on a good day, and certainly not on a Friday. So let's see. If I was ordering, let's say I was ordering 25 copies of a book, then it would be 65 cents per book times 25. So that would be $16.25 plus the base fee of $8.99, which means my shipping for UPS, which is insured and is trackable, would be $25.24 for 25 copies of the book. So it'd add about $1 per book on. And of course, if you're doing bigger shipments, the fee goes down a little bit, goes down by 5 cents per book when you go over 50 books. But that's a little bit easier in my opinion, clearer to actually figure out when you're looking at shipping. It's still not cheap. Right? It's still not cheap, but books are heavy, and mail and shipping is what it is. But it's nice to know there's a new standard. And again, I think it's simplified, which is very, very helpful in my opinion. Let's see. We had another emailed question. Email in from Jane. If I publish in a new genre under a new name, so for a first time with this pseudonym, can I market myself as a debut writer? So here is my answer to that. Can you market yourself as a debut author? Can you market yourself as, this is my debut novel for that pen name? I think you can for marketing purposes. Where I think it gets sticky and a little bit morally gray, and I would not go this way, is if you're entering in contest or something like that for debut writers, debut author, debut novel, I think that would not be okay. And I think that if that did come up in judging of any of those contests, you would, number one, it wouldn't be good for your reputation, but also I don't think that you would qualify for debut. So if you were talking about a debut author, debut book for a pseudonym, I think you can do that for marketing. If you're talking about contests or things like that, I do not believe that you would qualify. Again, I think that's a morally gray area. But that is my feelings and what I think most people in the industry would probably follow. So that's kind of how I would handle it. And let's see, a question from Francis. I have a short story about 10,000 words that I think would be appropriate for serialization on Kindle Vella. It is a historical supernatural mystery, and I'm having trouble placing it with a traditional mystery magazine. My goal for publishing to Kindle Vella would be, one, to give the story a place to find a potential audience. From my own reading on the platform, Vella seems to have a lot of supernaturals and historicals, does a lot of romance. And two, to see if the platform is a good fit for me potentially for other stories. Kindle Vella does allow publishing for complete series, and I think I can break this one into 15 to 16 episodes, like a single season of a TV series. What are your thoughts? So Kindle Vella is one of those things that really tried and has tried to compete with like Wattpad and some of those free options. And I think that some stories are doing very well there. I think the idea of serialization is popular and some people are doing well with it, but I don't think Kindle Vella overall has done as well as Amazon had hoped. I think that there are so many free options for people to get serialized fiction that when it comes to paying, it's not working as well. That's not to say some people aren't getting out there, finding an audience and making money, but I just don't think it's as big as Amazon had hoped. However, if you're using this to build an audience, if you're hoping to find your audience, to get feedback that you can actually then use so that you can compile a bigger story or a novel or a novella and then publish later, I think it can be fantastic. It's a good way to get feedback. And if you already have this written, I don't have Siri's trying to talk to me. If you already have this written, and if it's something that you've already kind of got done, you've already queried with traditional magazines and you're not getting bites from it, I think it's a great tester item, knowing, you know, you're going to kind of put it out there. Vella, typically you want about 1,000 words per episode, as far as I know. I think it's a great tester. I don't think you have much of anything to lose because it's pretty easy to do. So I personally would probably go for it with an open mind. I'd love to hear your experience if you do it. Like I said, I've seen varying experiences on Vella. I've heard a lot of people say it is good to build an audience for like Kindle Unlimited books later. So that could be a good point if that's something you're hoping to do, or if you already have books on Kindle Unlimited, that might work. Yeah, you got nothing to lose. That's exactly right. It's like, why not? So definitely, if you do it, let us know how it works out, because I would love to know. All right, speaking of pseudonyms, are there rules when deciding to use one for another genre or groups? Do we need to create a new website for this author? Are there rules or steps to do to create a new one? So pseudonyms and pen names are one of those things where there are best practices, there are smart things to do, but there are no hard and fast rules. And as far as I know, I'm not a lawyer. I cannot give legal advice, but as far as I know, there's no big legal things that you have to use a pen name, because again, this is not your legal name. This is just, you know, it's like a nickname almost. So best practice for when you're doing this is, if you're going to use a pen name and you want to market your work, you really do have to treat this as its own marketable entity. So if you are trying to market a book under, let's just say, Jane Doe. If you're marketing a book under Jane Doe, well, then Jane Doe needs a Facebook author page. Jane Doe needs her own Goodreads profile if she's got a book out. Jane Doe needs an Author Central profile. And these places are set up for pen names, so you can do that. As far as a website and different things like that, that depends. I always think it's smart to have your spot online that you own. So a website is smart, but do you need one specifically for this pen name? It depends on you. And what I mean by that is, some people use a pen name and they don't want anyone to know. Like they work in the government, they're like, work in the government, and I can't so much have everyone knowing that I like write erotica about aliens. Cool. They don't want anyone to know. They don't want it associated. It's not an open pen name. Or there are people who say, hey, I write in 5 different genres, and I know that with all the algorithms and SEO that happens on Amazon and with readers today, I need to separate out those genres by different pen names. But it's an open pen name. It's like, hey, guys, I write I write nonfiction under this name, I write supernatural suspense under this name, and I write sweet romance under this name. And it's like an open secret, because it's not that you don't want people to know that you write other things. It's that you realize that the audiences may be separate. If that's the case, you can have one single website and buy multiple URLs that feed into it. So for example, if my website or let's say my main website is KeriBarnum.com. So I've got KeriBarnum.com, but I'm also writing under K Barnum and KR Barnum. I can have K Barnum and KR Barnum actually just redirect to my main website, and I can have different pages or different areas for each of my pen names, meaning one website, multiple URL directions, so that if people are looking for me under the pen name, they'll find me. If, however, I don't want anyone to know who I am, I probably need a dedicated website to that pen name. And it's really important, again, just to realize that if you're creating multiple pen names, you have to market multiple author names and platforms. You're going to different markets typically, you're going to different audiences, and you have to market each of those, or else you're not going to get the lift. So it can be more work. There are a lot of good reasons for having a pseudonym or a pen name. And sometimes it makes a lot of sense, but it is typically a little bit more work, because you're fostering different parts of your personality for different audiences, and you have to connect with each of those audiences, or else you're not going to sell books because you're not connecting with your readers. Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends. Some people love having a pen name. I have some authors and clients who love having a pen name. And I have some clients who say it's the worst thing I ever did. Some people like having the separation from their real self and their author self. Some people are like, it's so much work. It just depends on what your purpose is with that pen name or that pseudonym, and if you're willing to put the work into it. So I think that's the most important things to consider. See, I'm not getting many reviews on my 3rd picture book. I didn't use a launch team this time. Do I have to wait till I get 15 reviews before I run Amazon ads? I do recommend you wait for 15 reviews to run Amazon ads, but keep in mind that if you're running Amazon ads for your other books, they may be the lead in as long as you've got a strong link to that 3rd book. So is your book listed as a series on Amazon? Do you collect email addresses for your newsletter so you can tell them about your 3rd book? And sometimes it is just going back to people you know have bought the book, or going to your email list and saying, hey, I know a lot of people have bought it. I can't wait to read your reviews. But I would not run an ad, especially an Amazon ad, without at least 15 reviews. Yeah, all right. I know we had more emails, so let me see if I can. Oh, big news that kind of came out is that Draft2Digital has acquired its self-pub book covers. Self-pub book covers, it's a mouthful, is a site where you can buy pre-made covers. It's been around for a long time. It's very budget friendly, and it's a good site. There are some really good designs on there. There are designs that are not as good, but it's a good option for pre-made covers. And Draft2Digital has recently they've acquired self-pub book covers. So we can see where Draft2Digital, first they were doing all their ebook and their ebook distribution. Then Draft2Digital, who is related to Find Your Way Voices, bought Spotify, or Spotify bot Findaway Voices. I'm sorry. And then we've got Draft2Digital, who's got the ebook distribution. Then they started, for a while, they were in beta testing for print on demand. Now they officially have print on demand up, which, by the way, goes through IngramSpark. It's like a pass through, just like Amazon expanded distribution. It's kind of the same thing when you go to Draft2Digital. They're using IngramSpark's printing facilities. And they have that, and now they have purchased self-pub book covers. So now you can see where they're expanding out their services. They are building their empire for the self-publishing community. I've been very happy with Draft2Digital. You guys know I recommend them for ebook distribution. They have great service. They have great customer service. So I'll be interested to see how that goes through, but we can definitely see where they're starting to add more and more services to their one website and more facets. And I would not be surprised for them to start marketing themselves and creating themselves as a one-stop shop, self-publishing services, a little bit like KDP, but KDP is kind of all for Amazon. And I could see Draft2Digital trying to compete in the space, but for wide distribution. You know, get your cover made here, get your files done here. You can already format, you can take a Word document and format it for free as an ebook in Draft2Digital software when you're in their account. So I would not be surprised to see if they start to kind of put themselves as a one-stop shop. We'll definitely follow that along. Yes, self-pub book covers. It is, their website is just like that, self-pub book covers. I'll put it in the chat here. There we go. And for anyone who's not on the Zoom call live, if you might be watching us on Facebook, you can always join us live by just going to newshelves.com/FAF, and you can join the live Zoom call where we take your questions live. Let's see. I'm not quite sure what that question was about self-cut from Draft2Digital. I don't know if I stumbled on my words and confused somebody or if that was a question, but if it was, please clarify. All right, a question from Dana about pitching books to an agent or to a publisher. And the question is it necessary to have your series completed before searching for and pitching to an agent or a publisher? I have 2 of 3 books completed in my series. And the answer to that is no. When you're pitching a book, you want to pitch a single book with a series potential or with a series proposal. So the thing is that they want a single book. They want to buy into that. They want to see if it sells before they, jump in for 3 books. So when pitching an agent or pitching a publisher, unless they specifically say they are looking for proposals for a series or they're looking for a finished series, you always lead with your first book and you word it as, I am pitching a standalone novel with series potential, or I have a children's book with series potential, because the potential is good to have, but they're not looking for 3 books. They're looking for 1. They want to see if 1 is successful and they'll move on from there. So that is important. Let's see. Oh yes, it's self-pub book covers. Sorry if I was not clear in the website. And again, I did drop it, so hopefully that helps. Let me see. I got that one answered. We have another show and tell question that I was saving till the end because I know it's a little bit longer. Oh, you guys, last week we talked about scams that are just running rampant. It's a problem, right? All the scams that are just going. And I was actually sitting in a doctor's office on Monday and I was checking my email from my phone because I have a problem. And I had an email from one of our dear members here who said, hey, this person, Amazon or KDP said that they could do this thing for me and they could do it all. It'll be, under $1,000 and they'll be able to do these things for me for KDP. And they gave me the link and I immediately knew Jane, I wasn't going to out you, but they immediately, I looked at it and I literally, my first email back was, no, 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 no. These guys are sneaky. They're really sneaky. The website that they were using was like kdpamazonpublishing.com. She had spoken to them. They had done customer service. They were telling her that they could do things on KDP that they cannot do. And that was my immediate reaction was like, no, you can't do that on KDP. It doesn't work. So I immediately knew. And then when I saw the website, but these guys are sneaky. The website was sleekly designed. They were using the KDP name, and I'm pretty sure it even said KDP Amazon. So you guys be wary, look it up. KDP is kdp.com. That's it. There's no other website. There are no other words. It's kdp.com. You want to go to that website. It looks exactly like, or pretty darn close to Amazon's website. If you're going to Author Central, it is simply authorcentral.com. That's where you go. Amazon.com. Do not get taken in by people using the Amazon name or KDP name in a longer URL or in a longer name, because I've seen that one just this week. And by the way, super savvy. Like, this was not, it wasn't easy to spot for the average person, and someone who's savvy and smart. So I think it's just one of those things. And I've seen this with 2 other companies doing business using the words KDP and or Amazon. So be wary, just be smart. And if you have questions, I'm so glad that Jane emailed me, because this allowed me to immediately be like, no, cancel that payment, get your money back. So if something feels off, or if you have questions, you guys know I try to help when I can, and I'm glad we caught that one. Let me see. Daisy had a question. My book is currently available on Amazon. I plan to have a new front and back cover. The company I hope to republish my book with will also sell it on Amazon. Is this going to be a problem? Same book, but different covers. So it's not necessarily a problem, but there are steps that you need to take. If you are publishing the same exact book with a different cover, that's actually against Amazon's terms. Like, you have to market that it's a special edition. You need to market that it's also listed as, or you need to actually let consumers know, because what Amazon doesn't want is people to order both of those books and then feel cheated because they got the same book with a different cover. You may also then get knocked, they may start to question the copyright and authenticity of the book. But if you are doing a new edition, so if you are going to stop printing and selling the old cover and you're going to upload a new cover, you can absolutely do that. That would be a new edition. So you take down the old edition and you bring up the new edition, and that is how you handle that. And you can link them together, where you actually you unpublish the first edition, you publish the new edition, and then you tell Amazon you would like to link those together. You'd like the reviews to come over, and so on and so forth. As long as the author name and the title are exactly the same, you should have no problem with that. I actually just did that with a client of mine. Gosh, this week, I mean, I do it all the time, but a client of mine and I literally just did this. And so it definitely can be done. It's a new edition though. So you just have to follow the rules for that. And of course, if you are self-publishing and you're just changing your cover, you don't necessarily have to have a brand new listing for that. So let me actually show you. You know me, I'm visual. I like to do the show and tell. All right, here we go. And I've got 2 things to show you here, actually, so this will be fun. All right, so this is the book I was talking about, Understanding Trauma and Dissociation. And this is the old cover. This came out it came out like 15 years ago, and this book has done very well, but you know, it's older. And so we can see if we click on this, this was recently unpublished. So you'll notice there's no ebook any longer. You'll notice that the hardcover here says temporarily out of stock. That's because they stopped printing it. This book listing will never go away because the book existed. There are used copies, as you can see. People can resell it. So the book listing will always exist. Same thing with the paperback. Same thing. You can see they're actually, this one's not saying out of stock, but you can see they're getting rid of the stock that was probably in the system. So this is the old book. It's been unpublished. Now we have the new book. Let me go back here. Now we have the new book, and this is updated and just came out. Oh, look, it's a #1 new release. That's exciting. So this book just came out, and you can see this is now in stock. The paperback is in stock as well. So that's up and running. So what we will end up doing now that both books are up is we will write to Amazon and KDP, and we will say, please link the first edition and the second edition and bring the reviews over. What that does is it means that when people are searching and looking for the book, this first edition should be the one that shows up kind of on top or as priority. And it should also link those reviews. There are like 70 something reviews on the other book that should link to this book. And so because it's the same name, same thing, we can see it's a new edition. If I was going to publish the same book, but a different title, that would have to be noted on the Amazon sales page, previously published as the other title, again, to avoid confusion and because we don't want customers buying a book they think is new that they've already read. So that is something to kind of consider. It's doable. You just got to follow the steps. And certainly if you have more questions on that, you can always get in touch with me and we can try to talk about it. A question, I'm going to stay on this page because a question I had recently from Shira, and Shira did give me permission to use her name in her books as a recommendation. And Shira's question was that she had recently, during InkersCon with Alessandra Torre, she had recently had a consultation with one of the experts there. And the suggestion for her was that she changed the lettering of her covers for her standalone novels, her thrillers, and brand them as a series. So we all know that series marketing can be easier than standalone marketing because all you get a reader into one book and then they're reading the rest of the series. And so series marketing can be a way to increase your profits and it can be a way to keep your reader for longer. But if you write standalones, that's harder to do. So the suggestion is that you take your standalones and you brand them as a series, but a series of standalones. So let's look at the example that they gave her, which was Ramona Light. And you can see Ramona Light right here. This is a standalone book, The Uninvited Caller, which is a domestic thriller. And you can see this is a standalone, but right here it says part of the domestic thriller standalone collection. So this has been branded as part of a series. And when we look at this, you will notice one of the suggestions was to rebrand to use this similar or same font treatment and style so that these books look like a series. So when we look at these, The Uninvited Caller, Just Like Her, they're all standalones, but they are definitely branded so that you know these are Ramona Light books. They're also on a series page because they've been branded as a series. They're on a series page. They'll be linked on Amazon for readers, which makes them easier to find and in some cases easier to sell. These stories are all different. Now you'll notice a lot of it's got the yellow text, but like The Blended Family has white. So it can have some differences, but very, very branded. And this can be a smart choice because this can help you convert your readers to the next book. But is it always right? And that is the question that comes up is this always right for branding a standalone or for branding standalones? And I think it's a brilliant idea. I want to put that out there first. It's a brilliant idea to brand your standalones as a series. There's a lot of smart things about that. But I do think that sometimes it's not the right call. And I want to talk about why. So I'm going to go back to Shira's page, and Shira here has 2 books out currently. The third one is super exciting. We were on a call the other day working on her query and logline for that. But the third one's not out yet. So currently she's got 2 books. She's got Emergence, which is a medical suspense thriller that is, it's got romance and spice in it. When I say spice, this is, we were working out how many peppers it was, and we decided Emergence is 3 peppers. It's pretty spicy. And then we've got Grave Intervention, which is also a medical suspense novel. However, this one is more paranormal, and the spice level is like half a pepper. It's like a, I don't know, it's like a de-seeded jalapeno in a dip. This one, this is like sriracha hot. So here's why I don't think this is a good idea for branding for this particular series or these particular books. And the reason why is because your readers may inherently be different. Even though they are both thrillers, they're both medical suspense. The people who will read Grave Intervention, which is not spicy and is paranormal, may be very different from those who are going to read Emergence, which is a medical suspense with quite a bit of spice in it. And I think that is the biggest difference, is that your reader will be different. And we've even experienced in some of the reviews, overall reviews have been fantastic for Emergence. It sold very well, but there have been a couple of people who are like, wow, that's got a lot of info in it. It's not for everybody, and that's cool. But I think that when you're talking about a series and you're talking about branding, you really want to be careful that when you're branding standalones as a series, that your ideal reader is the same for every book in the series, or that your ideal reader is likely to convert over and not be upset by what's in the book. And I don't think that will happen here. And I think that's the issue. Now, for the new book coming up, I think would probably do very well to kind of brand with Emergence, because it's got more of a similar feel and it's got some more spice in it. So I think that's something we have to think about, especially when we do have romance, or when we've got things, or even, guys, if we're talking about violence, if we're talking about levels of violence or the language in a book. If we got one book that is very, it's not got any gory scenes, and it's got no blood in it, and it's got very, it doesn't have any cursing in it. And then we have this gritty noir thriller with a bunch of like mangled bodies and F-bombs. That's probably not the same reader. So it's not going to convert well. Not only will it not convert well, but you will actually upset your readers. So these are the things I would consider when you're trying to decide whether or not you should brand your standalones as a series. And I think, again, overall, the advice to brand is super smart. I mean, you can still brand your books so that they're similar and people know it's you. And I think it's a smart idea, but we have to take great advice. Like, hey, brand your standalones as a series. We have to take that great advice or general advice and decide if it's right for us and our books. And I think this is one of the hardest things that authors have in front of them that they really have to look at, is that when there is good advice out there, and there's good advice everywhere, right? Like, we've got it in different newsletters and podcasts, we've got it in Facebook groups, we've got it for one-on-ones with agents or authors or people in the industry. But it's really important that we take in some of that good advice or those standard practices, and we look at it specifically for our books, for your platform, because that's really important. And they probably, if it's a short chat with you, they probably don't know your books and your audience as well as you. So I think it's important when we're taking in some good advice and good ideas that we take it in, but then we make sure that we're looking at it from our books specifically, and we think about how that may play out. So on this one, Shira, I would not brand your series of standalones with those two books, but possibly with the new book and Emergence. I think it could work, and I think those audience would shift over very well. Let's see, what is a definition of a cozy? All right, so this is not like, I'm not going to pull up my Google or my textbook, but I'm going to give you what I believe a cozy is. So when we're talking about a cozy mystery, it's something typically that is a mystery that gets solved. There may be a body, however, it is not going to be a bloody, well, I mean, there may be some blood, but this is not a suspense. This is not gory. This is, you know, you've got a dead body, we're going to work to solve it. We've got a mystery, we're going to work to solve it. It typically is not going to have a lot of spice if you've got a romance relationship in there. It's not going to have a lot of language or graphic detail of crime scenes typically. So cozy mystery is something that is wrapped up in the end. It is, you know, we've got this problem, and by the end, we know who done it. We're moving on, and it's something typically that wouldn't offend very many readers, if any. And it always helps if you've got a dog or a cat in the mix. If you've got some food or recipes or that kind of thing, that never hurt anyone either. So that's typically what I think of with a cozy. And I know we've got some cozy authors on the line, so you can always, always said it. I love Jane Tea and scones. Absolutely. I think all of those things kind of keep in mind. And cozy mysteries, by the way, the typical reader of a cozy mystery is going to be someone who is female or identifies as female, and they will typically be in the range of like 50 to 70 years old. So that is kind of your typical readership. So do with that what you will when thinking about what to write and how to market. Where can I get a consignment contract to use with local bookstores? Pam, they usually have their own contracts. You don't usually bring yours. So I would ask them, number one, if they do consignment and if they have a contract. And otherwise, if you still need a consignment contract, honestly, you can probably look at Authors Guild. You can check with IBPA or Ally if you're a member of those organizations, or you can Google and find one. And kind of lay it out there. Typically, if you're doing a consignment with a bookstore, you provide the books, and if they sell, they give you 60% of the retail cost back. So they keep 40, they give you 60% back, but the cost of printing the books and the actual books comes out of your 60% as you provided those. Let's see. Yeah, and Linda's asking, wouldn't Murder, She Wrote be an example of cozy mystery? Absolutely, absolutely. And I love that Rick did a couple of those. So when Rick Lenz was an actor, he did some Murder, She Wrote. Just every time I learn more about Rick, I just love him more and more. But yes, Murder, She Wrote would be a classic cozy mystery. All right, question. What do you think of mass trade paperback for My Lengthy Novel? The last edition proved too expensive due to page length. It needs smaller print. So the thing about mass market is that mass market novels are typically smaller and they have thinner paper. So it's thinner paper, which means the spine's smaller, the book is overall smaller. However, when you're doing mass market paperbacks for print on demand, the pricing is pretty darn close to what it is for a normal trade paperback, because you're still using as many pages, you're still printing as many words. It's just going to be on a different type of paper so that the book is more manageable for the average person to like throw in their bag, something like that. So your price probably wouldn't go down with mass market paperback. And when we're talking about print, unless you printed in large print, your actual print, your font size wouldn't necessarily go down. That's pretty standard for most books. So it might go down a little bit, but your page sizes, let's say if you originally did a 6x9 hardcover and now you're going to a mass market paperback, which is tinier, then you may go down in font size a little bit, but the book's also going to be more pages because you went from a 6x9 to a bigger or a smaller book. So it might actually be more pages, just thinner pages if you're doing a traditional mass market. And if that's the case, if your lengthy novel is a problem in print because of that, I would really just focus on your ebook and online sales is what I would think of. Let's see, we got that one done. All right. Eileen is asking about library mailings. So I just heard from my publisher that my novel is in the top 5 of bestsellers through Ingram. Awesome. Since that seems to be a good venue for me, I'd really like to have my other books, Aaron's Children and All the Furs and Feathers, included in a library mailing. So my next library mailing will be in September. It is open now for signups. Let me see if I can find that link for you. But it will be in September. Summer months can be a little rough on any mailings, not only for, librarians maybe not being as active or attentive because they've got a lot of programming going on, but also just because here at New Shelves, we also have a lot going on. So we'll be looking at September for a library mailing. And I found that page. I will put that up here. We are accepting signups now. Well, eventually I'll find it. I should have been more prepared. I knew you had that question. Let's see. I know it's on the YouTube video. Actually, let me pull that up. Oh, goodness. My internet doesn't want to work as fast as I would like it to work. Here we go. Here's the link to the library mailing sign up. To be a good fit for a library mailing, your book does need to be available through Ingram Wholesale. It's really great if it's available through Baker and Taylor. If your ebook is wide, if your ebook's not in Kindle Unlimited, then having your ebook available in Overdrive through Draft2Digital or Bibliotheca or Hoopla is a huge benefit. So I would definitely consider that, but congratulations, that's awesome. And I know that your books are a series, so that can be a great thing as well. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys, if you have a question, we've got like five or 10 more minutes left. So if you have any other questions, drop them in the Q&A and we'll get them answered. But the other thing I wanted to share with you guys today is this week, I did do a workshop with Debbie Drum all about workbooks, and this especially for, I mean, it could work for anyone. I guess you could do like a workbook or like a book club type workbook for fiction, but this especially for, I think, children's books or nonfiction books is so helpful. Just talking about how to create workbooks that you can create to support the content of your book for workshops if you're hoping that your nonfiction book will turn into your nonfiction books that will turn into speaking gigs and things like that and all of that good stuff. I think I can get rid of that. There we go. I'll share this link to you, but it was a whole workshop on this and it was a lot of fun. It was very helpful. I thought just thinking about how workbooks can help you, but also how easy it can be to turn your book content into a workbook. And guys, I could see this. Debbie was talking about them specifically about making workbooks to sell. So like as a accompaniment to your nonfiction book. It could be great for workshops and book clubs, and you could sell them separately. You could bring them to events as giveaways, but also a lot of these could also be PDF downloads. So when we're talking about building up your list or lead generation, you could use some PDFs, like the one-page worksheets, as opt-ins for your mailing list. So then you can market your book to them. So there are so many great ideas of how to use these and create, I mean, pretty easy income. You've already done the hard work of thinking of the book idea and writing the book. So this is something that would just support that. And there are a lot of great ideas. So this is connected. She's got a system called Workbook Wealth, which there's an opportunity to buy at the end. But regardless of if you've got the budget or you're interested in buying that, the webinar itself, the workshop was just filled with a lot of great information. And yeah, she was talking about selling these on, yes, you can do them print on demand through like Amazon. You can sell them on Etsy. She was talking about doing that on Etsy, talking about using them for lead generation, talking about using these for corporate sales. So, you know, you sell your book and this workbook is something special and easy to make that was geared towards a specific company. So if you've got corporate sales and you want something that you can create easily and give them that is branded for them or just for their presentation, these would be really easy to do, talking about how you could do spiral bound books through like Lulu, lots of options. So I'm sure a fiction author could use these, but really I see the market in these for children's books and really, really see the market for this for business, people who have business books or nonfiction books in general. So yeah, you can do all sorts of things here. And I think it was really cool. So feel free to go watch it. The replay is up, I believe, through the weekend. So if you want to watch it, make sure you grab it before then. And I've got a couple more questions, I think. Let's see. For a library mailing, how many times is too many? If I've already done a library mailing with the new shelves list before, should I wait? I typically say once or twice a year is my recommendation for reaching out to the list, keeping in mind that sometimes librarians like your book, they're just not in the market for your type of book at that time. So reaching out in different seasons can be smart, but also keep in mind that I have a staff of people and I have an assistant who literally looks for new libraries to connect with and to reach out to every single week. So we do add to that library list and new buyers and new needs and things like that. So I would say once a year, twice a year would be the sweet spot. And I do have a lot of authors who come back again and again for library mailings. And it's funny because a lot of them, they're like, I'm back because last time I got sales. So I think that can be great. But if you have any specific concerns or questions, just reach out to me. All right, we've got time for one last question in here. I've submitted my first book, which is erotica, to KDP, but haven't heard a thing back in 7 days. How can I learn the status, whether or not it's going to be accepted? It will be a series of 4 short books. So you should be able to go right into your KDP account and see if the book is published or if it's in review. If it's stuck in review, excuse me, if it's stuck in review, a week it should go through. Now I will say if it's straight erotica and you did not mark 18 plus, that's going to get you in trouble. So marking 18 plus. And speaking of, this has been an ongoing question, which Amazon has straight up said, yeah, we're not very clear on that, are we? We should fix that, but they haven't fixed it yet. When they updated the new categories, there's now a box that asks about adult content. Is this adult only content? And then that is followed up with a age range. The age range is optional. So you have to say yes or no, it's adult content. And then the age range is optional. I could say no, no, it's not adult only content and it's for 12 to 17-year-olds. It's a young adult book. Or I could say it's adult only content and it's 18 plus. What people noticed almost immediately is that when they selected the adult only content for things like erotica, what happened is that their book was put in what people laughingly kind of called the dungeon, meaning that it was not searchable if people were searching the title. It was not showing up organically. Basically, this book was tamped down because Amazon doesn't want to show something that is adult only content or erotica to all of their customers because they don't want to alienate them, or children can have accounts. And so it goes to the dungeon. And so essentially, there's been a lot of back and forth of if it's adult only, should you do that? The last thing that I've seen, and again, I can only tell you what I've seen, I can't tell you what to do, but the last that I've seen is that you should say, no, it's not adult only content, but then in the age range, you should do 18 plus. And what that does is, the reason why that age range matters is because if you select minimum age that is whatever it is, 18, 17, whatever it is, when you sign up for an Amazon account, you, especially for minors, you have to give a year of birth and you have to give an age. So if I sign my 12-year-old up for a Kindle account or a Amazon account, then I have to put the age in there. And if you put your book and say it's 18 plus, that will not be searchable from her devices and from her account. So it actually tracks that. If, you know, if it says 13 plus and she's 14, it'll show up. But if she's 12, it's not going to show up. So what I'm hearing currently is that most authors are saying, no, it's not 18, or it's not adult only content, but they're setting the age limit. Amazon knows this. KDP knows this. I assume they'll try working on this at some point, because there are a lot of people who are like, well, why would I say it's adult only content if it then means that no one's going to find my book, or, you know, it's not going to be easily accessible. So I think Amazon and KDP are eventually going to have to do something like this, because not only erotica, but also just stories that are spicy and things like that, it's affecting. We'll see what comes of it. Who knows? But just know that's kind of what I'm hearing from a lot of author groups and authors, and that's how people are handling it at the moment. And again, you can do with that what you will. All right, everybody. This was a great session. Thank you for joining me today. We'll be back same time next week, 10 a.m. Eastern. Please feel free to join me then. If you have follow-up questions or questions you want answered next week, you can reach out to info@newshelves.com, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.